I picked up a little, they call it a hot dog compressor, a dewalt. It's a 6-gallon, 135 psi and 3.8 CFM compressor. It was in a dumpster. It looks good, but I have no idea what's wrong with it, so I thought I'd bring you along. We'll check it out, see if it works, and if not, see if we can get it fixed. We'll plug it in, and you either want to plug these directly into the outlet or with a heavy extension cord. Nothing light. A little paint on this gauge. There's still some pressure in it. We got 25 pounds in there. And we'll give it a try. Nothing. I'm going to take it right over to the outlet and plug it in directly. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. You hear that humming? You don't want to leave it running like that if yours does that. What that tells me is it's trying to start, but it might be the start capacitor. So let's take it apart and check that out. And the start capacitor are near the motor. And you're going to find start capacitors on wash machines, your AC unit, the condensing unit outside to start that compressor. It's real common when you've got an electric motor. Oh, it's loose anyways. Now we can slide the cover off. And there's our motor, and there's the capacitor. They just zip tie it on there. Oh, screwed in the back. These start capacitors store electricity to give the power to start that motor. It can't start just on the 110 or 220 if you've got a 220 unit. So that stores power, and it gives this extra power to get started. That thing can electrocute you and kill you. Whether you're working on a AC unit or a wash machine or a compressor, you've got to discharge this and make sure it's discharged before you start pulling wires off or anything. Now to discharge this, you want to take an insulated screwdriver or something like that, metal and plastic. So the plastic is an insulator or a rubber handle. Make sure you're wearing good rubber boots or whatever, and you want to touch those two contact points together. If the capacitor is holding a charge, you're going to get a pop, like a little tiny firecracker sound. But you want to touch that and make sure you discharge it. And I'm getting nothing here. I'm going to back off that cover a little bit, which I did. And I'm still getting nothing. But you want to touch it a whole bunch of different times and make sure that's completely discharged. So I feel pretty confident that that's discharged. So I'm going to unplug these wires. I got pliers with a rubber handle. I don't want to damage this. And if you've got multiple wires, you want to make sure you know what's connected where so you can connect your new one up that way. I'm going to check discharge again. Can never be too careful with this. Now, all capacitors originally come with a reading, and this one is 120 microfarads with a plus or minus 5%, and that tells you what kind of capacitor it is. And to check the capacitor, we're checking microfarads, and it's this symbol right here, and it's a line, horizontal line with a vertical line, and then the other horizontal line with a bent vertical line. And this multimeter happens to be with the ohms reading too. So you turn that over there. Now I'm reading ohms there, so I got to push the function key. And there's microfarads. So we'll go ahead and test that and make sure it's discharged. Careful, careful, careful. And this one should read 120, plus or minus 5%. So you have to hold it on there. We're at 123.4. So we're right there. That's a good capacitor. That's not a good sign for me. That might mean the pistons froze up in there, or there's a problem with the motor. Okay, so we know the capacitor's good. I'm going to start simple and work my way through. I'm going to check the oil in here. Uh-oh. I do see some oil in there, but it's low. Well, it's just at the low mark. So that's not tragic. And I want to check the switch. Make sure that's not the problem. Oh, this motor seems pretty sticky. Uh-uh. There we go. It seems like the piston's probably okay. I'm getting air pressure in here. I can turn this and I can feel this has got compression in it. You hear that? Maybe it just has a sticky spot on the motor here. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple bolts back in and see if it'll fire up. Maybe it just needs a cleaning in the motor. So I can go ahead and plug this in now. And plug this in, see what happens. I'm also going to open the drain down here. Don't need any extra pressure in there. And you're supposed to drain the water off after every time you run this. Otherwise, that sitting water in your compressor tank will eventually rot the tank, and they say it can cause an explosion. But it's good to drain it once in a while at least, if not every time. I'm on the extension cord again, which isn't ideal. See all the junk that was in the bottom of the tank. Oh, you see that? I think we might have a bad spot in the motor. Could be the brushes are bad. Let's take it apart, take a look at it. And to do that, again, I'm going to discharge this capacitor. And they can hold a charge in just a matter of a second. So you want to make sure you always do that. And then carefully unplug it. Another zip tie down here holding these wires. And just a matter of unplugging this and unscrewing our ground wire. Now let's take it over the workbench. Now for most of you, when you have that humming problem, your problem's going to be this capacitor. We've gone past that. When I turn this, it just runs into a dead end. Oh, there, it passed it. Huh. It's almost like something got in the piston in here. Let's pop this off the head and see what we got. That's mighty dirty. Ah, it's free as a bird. I don't know. Seemed like something stuck in there. But she's free now. Maybe there's something in the motor, got in the motor. It's a piece of debris got in the motor. I'm gonna clean that up real quick. I'm just gonna use some acetone on a rag, and then I'll spray some WD-40, which is also a good cleaner. Spray that on there, but I just wanna get the bulk of the carbon off of there. I doubt something would have got into the piston. So my gut now is telling me that something got into that motor. It's pretty dirty. Wow, it's all clogged up. Could it just be that? It's so clogged that it wouldn't allow any air to push through there? I mean, that thing was packed. That's the intake side. This side was jam-packed. I mean solid packed. I don't know if you can see, there's a piece of gunk right there. I just pushed it back in. There's a chunk. Look at that. That's hard stuff too. Lot of junk in there. She's clean as a whistle now. I don't know if you can see that. I bet an air filter goes on here or something. But I'm going to check that. Maybe they didn't have the air filter on there, and that was the whole problem. I'm going to put the piston all the way up to the top. Just blow that out. That one fits in there. And the other one fits in the groove of that. I'm going to put a little grease on that so it stays in there when I lay it back down. Just to get it to stick just a little bit till it sets down. Hold that in place. Of course, you start these by hand. Crisscross pattern. Good. She sure seems free now. Let's go give her a try. ain't going nowhere. I'm just going to see if it'll run first, and then I can close the bottom drain. Here we go. It has a little bit of a hard time starting because I have such a long extension cord. Let's put it back together, see if it'll work. I'm going to shoot a little fogging oil in here. Lubricate the piston, the cylinder wall. Won't hurt anything. Then we'll go with the 25-footer and see how that does. Now if this runs well, I'll go ahead and close the valve at the bottom and see if we can get this to pump up. Sounds good. I'll have to go back and look at the owner's manual, but I bet there's a filter that goes over here. Well, there we go. She cut out 135, which is the way they're set at the factory. How about that? I doubt that's a typical problem, but if you leave the filter off, you're going to ruin that, plug it up, or ruin the piston cylinder. And if you leave your air filter off, or have a dirty air filter on your small engine equipment, you're going to destroy that too. We just had to have our engine rebuilt because somebody knocked off the air filter on a Kawasaki engine and it destroyed the engine. And after you're done using it, don't forget to let the air out of your tank. They take on a lot of water and it'll ruin your tank over time. Now this was an odd problem that you probably won't run into much if you take care of your machine and keep up with the air filter. 9 times out of 10, you're going to run into a bad capacitor, and you should be able to pick one up for about $10. Just got to get a filter for it. And I ordered a 4-pack of new filters, and these come in 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch, so you got to make sure you get the right one. But 4 filters for under $10. It's not worth destroying your machine over that. Yeah, I hope this video was a help to you. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.